Platoon, attention. Sergeant First Class Wilson signing out.
Marshall in the middle.
Oh, look at that. He's got the 80-second whiskey bottle up there.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, man. Get that video started.
Believe it or not, I found a place up here that sells it.
Oh, really? I just got my first couple of bottles of it just this past weekend. I haven't even opened one up yet. It's
Smooth.
good. I love it. Yeah, good. Smooth. Is it a feet, knees, face, a feet, butt, head, or all 5 points of contact kind of smooth? You know.
You'll have to try it. I mean, some of the smoothest shit I've ever drank.
Yay! Good. Are you a whiskey guy?
Yeah. Well, I saw that and it's like, I gotta find one.
Amen. I get it. So I love whiskey. I'm a whiskey guy. I like bourbon. I like whiskey. I like scotch. I like brown liquor and the thought of creating something, right? Because that's what they're doing. At the end of the day, they're taking alcohol and making something that's tasty.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was a big beer connoisseur. I love, especially living in Germany. It was great.
So what's your favorite beer? What kind of beer do you like?
Well, it went out of business. It was called Warbird. It was made over in Fort Wayne. The Mustang Ale. Oh my God, to die for.
Yeah.
Then they went out of business. It's like, you sons of bitches. So I go into the store, I look at the names. This one sounds interesting, Wake Up Dead. All the weird shit they come up with.
Oh yeah. Craft beer's gotten big. I'm drinking a craft beer right now, but I love it. I've always been when I was in Beanock, my uncle was in the Command Sergeant Major's Academy, in the Sergeant Major Academy, and he would sign me out at Beanock, and we would go do PT, or so a couple times we went to a bar and had a beer, like on a Sunday evening or something, and he was teaching me, giving me special lessons and stuff, and part of it was the appreciation of good beer, and it was fun.
Huh.
Yeah. So where are you from?
Indiana, little town called Columbia City. It's by Fort Wayne.
We're all proud to be where we're from, right?
Oh yeah.
Isn't that something that's interesting about human nature? We're all proud to be where we're from.
Yeah. What's funny is I never thought I'd end up back here.
Oh, really? Tell me about that.
But I got back here for some reason, so I've just decided to stay.
Well, good. What kind of cigar you smoking there?
Something, a Grenadier. Not really sure. Something picked up for a party.
I got you. There was a time in my life I smoked a couple cigars a day, and it had my favorites and that kind of thing. I'm glad I don't smoke so much anymore.
Figure, what the hell? Smoke one while I'm talking with you.
Yeah, right. That's fun, right? Yeah. So, what year did you join the Army? I see some of your pictures. You're an old division guy, old division.
ODA.
Oh yeah. Woo woo.
Yeah, I joined in 77 under delayed entry, but I didn't go in until June of 78 after I graduated.
So you joined in 78. I joined in 87. Oh, 77. Wow.
Yeah, but then I went active in 78. I was in delayed entry for like a year.
So, how did you become were you a Vulcaneer or a Stinger? A Red
I
Eye?
was a Papa. I was red eye.
Oh, woo, woo. Okay, okay.
Before we left, they gave division everybody in third of the fourth that was in the red eye slots. We all got we were given the 16 Sierra designation before anybody else. Hell, we hadn't even been trained on it, hadn't even seen it.
Right.
So when I got to my next duty station, they kind of looked at me. It's like, we have no slots for you. What do you want to do? I'm like, what the fuck is this?
So what? So you joined in like you took basic in 78. What was basic like? Was it
June, July in El Paso.
yeah, at El Paso? Tell me about that.
For me, I was in Boy Scouts. So to me, basic training was, eh, you know, I learned some things. The marching part. Well, I kind of knew that, but it wasn't that hard. I mean, hell, I used to live outside. I got in trouble by Locklear. I had too much stuff in my wall locker. He looked at me dead serious. Wilson, I'm going to move you outside in a pump tent. And I looked at him with a smile on my face. Would you really? I'm not used to living inside. He's like, where the fuck are you from?
Didn't you say that Velton Locklear was like your first squad leader?
Oh, yeah. That was right
Wow.
before he hit the trail.
No way.
So, yeah, I mean, he was a great guy. And when I retired, he was in the basement. He was a sergeant major or something, because I was the operations sergeant at OBC. It was just funny. I looked up. It's like, Sergeant Locklear, how are you?
Oh wow, that's awesome. So tell me about tell me about Private Wilson.
Well, I didn't know what I was getting into, really. I thought I knew. And then I went on the first FTX. One of those little 3 days where you jump in, you fight for 3 days. I had never experienced anything like that. And, you're surrounded. My team chief at the time goes, Wilson, go. So I took off. I didn't know. Somehow he found me. It's like, you don't go that far. I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, shit was just going. It was like, and then later on, it'd be driving through. Oh, look, they're having battles. Yay! Just drive, tooling through. But yeah, I learned a lot there. The NCOs we had, outstanding. I mean, my God, legends. Sergeant Pemberton, Clark, Ward, Atkinson. Well, that picture, the 1978 battery picture, that I had just gotten to the unit before that was taken. But the leadership there, if it wasn't for the 82nd, I wouldn't have ended up at OBC. So, I mean, it was just that great. They taught me the lesson, rank and position, because we were out on a patrol and I was put in charge of all sergeants. And I'm like, I flat out said, I. What do you mean I'm in charge of you? rank and position. You are in charge. You tell us what to do. And after that, I mean, that was a great lesson. Because hell, at one point when I was an E4, I had an E7 working for me. Figure that one out.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
So,
being at OBC, you're in charge of all the lieutenants. Everybody outranks you there, but you get to tell them what to do. So, yeah, I mean, oh my God. Sergeant Clark was, I think, my second team chief that I had there. Yeah, he taught me how to go beyond. We were coming in from an FTX or something. We were walking back to Grunts. We were on Chicken Road. So off Chicken Road, there's the road by the impact area. It's called Bomb Proof Road. Me and him walked it. Luckily, no artillery was going off at the time. But, that's just the type, it's like, to me, hey, this is good training. Let's see if we can make it through this alive. Yay! So, yeah, I mean, the 82nd set my career.
do you remember becoming a sergeant?
Yeah, it was that at the time I was in Colorado and I was working in the ADATO, Division Airspace Management. So, I had myself to boss around.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, because everybody else there outranked me. I was the lowest man.
Wow.
I got an idea of how to do office work, which kind of helped out later in life. And it was interesting because, hell, when I was at Bragg, I was a team chief, I think, when I was E3 or E4. So, doing an NCO's job was just kind of second nature. I just didn't have to put up with all, doing the NCO ERs and all that bullshit.
So, isn't it wild? That's something that's really kind of hard to explain about a Stinger team is that you were like all alone and unafraid and on an island, and you took the perils of your decisions as your own, and if you lived or died, that's just the way it was. You had a
Oh,
radio, a IFF, a Stinger missile,
oh, yeah.
and you're in the middle of nowhere, right?
Oh, yeah. And you got to make it happen. There's like, oh, this is too hard. No, let's figure this shit out. Hell, I had a front wheel drive Jeep. My drive shaft dropped, the rear drive shaft dropped. Somehow I rigged it so I could put it in 4-wheel drive and drove back to Garrison in front wheel drive. Right? The choice was you can sit there and wait for a record, or figure something out, Wilson. Got it. Hey, watch this. To this day, I have no idea what the hell I did to make that happen.
Zip ties and baling wire, man.
Basically, it's probably duct tape and 550 cord in there somewhere too. But
Um,
yeah,
so,
thing made it back.
oh wow. Do you remember a challenging part of your training or a time where you had a difficult day or something?
Uh, there's all kinds of challenges, but I just put my nose down and did it.
Right, right.
Like, you got it. I was afraid of heights and afraid of the dark, so I became a paratrooper. Yeah, that solved that problem real quick.
Oh my gosh. I like to tell people my first 5 jumps were night water jumps because I closed my eyes and peed my pants. Oh, do you remember jumping out of airplanes? You remember that? You remember the thrill of that?
Oh hell yeah! Well, this lady I was dating, her son went into the army, and he said he got the airborne option. So I called the schoolhouse. Hey, can I come down? And the sergeant major goes, "You want to jump again?" No, yes, I do. But if I do, then I would be crippled for the rest of my life. My back is screwed. So no, yes, I do, but no. But he didn't. His recruiter screwed him, and the job he took didn't have a Papa identifier, so he never went to jump school.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
my cherry blast, that brag. We, I just gotten there. We'd just gone through all our training. So we were licensed by the time we got to the platoons or whatever. And I got detailed to drive jumpers out to the green ramp to shoot up and whatnot. Well, there's a short timer that said, I don't want to jump. And my platoon sergeant was one of the jump masters. Wilson, come here. But you want to jump? Sure. So he hooked me up and I did my cherry blast off the books, basically. It was just a fluke that I got onto that thing. So I never had to go through the bullshit the cherries go through.
Yay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, it was funny because that E4 gave me his equipment because it was an equipment jump. So, I rigged it up and left it up as rock. There's nothing in here. It was a blown up waterproof bag. So Atkinson was doing my JMPI and he lifts the bag and he looks at me like he's going to kill me. I just look, this isn't mine.
Oh wow, that's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. What was your favorite weapon? Did I'm sure you were assigned several different weapons.
L45, which you never got to carry at brag. And then, well, that's one of the reasons I wanted to become a team chief real quick because you went out with no weapon. And so I got my hand, once I became team chief, I carried an M16 ever since then.
Right, right. Were you a good shot?
Oh, yeah. Expert. Grew up in the country.
Amen, right? That's like shooting squirrels, gotta get them, gotta get them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was, I almost got my hands on a grease gun in Germany because I still had those. And I was, at the time, I wasn't doing rut stinger work. So the armor was a friend of mine, and I finally talked him into giving me an M3 grease gun. But I never got to pull it or shoot it or anything because I think I PCS shortly thereafter. Damn it. That would have been fun to shoot.
I think so. I think so. I've shot a grease gun before. We had them in our unit in Korea in '90 when I went over there. I think the team chief. No, I think the squad leader had that weapon as his assigned weapon, maybe, no. I take that back. A senior gunner had grease gun in his weapon or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, but it was going out. It was in the process. It might even have already gone out, but we just happened to have them in our arms room and happened to have bullets, and so I went to the range and shot it. I think that's
Nice.
what it was.
I'm jealous.
I think that's what it was. Yeah. I mean, tell me more about your career. Are you a jump master? Did you go to jump master school?
No, never went because I did my first enlistment at Bragg, and I left there in E4 for some reason, and I didn't make sergeant until a year later, maybe 82. I forget, but yeah, trying to think of all this stuff.
Yeah, it's wild, right? It's weird to try to think. Just all of a sudden, your mind just goes off in a million different directions, and you're just like, you put yourself back into a place that you just kind of haven't thought about for a long time.
Yeah,
You know?
well, I talked to one of my old first sergeants, and the memory box opened up, and it was like, I just talked to him yesterday. It'd been
Right.
10 years, and I'm babbling like an idiot because all that box opened up. Hey, he's like, oh,
That's great. That's great. Tell me about your, you said you went out and you were a sergeant and a weird kind of crew. Tell me about becoming a leader. Did you get a squad or a platoon or get a crew that you managed and was proud of,
well, over in Germany, every year I went to Crete to get to fire the missiles because we always every time there was a missile to be fired, I was qualified for it. I could go do it. But at Bragg, shot one there. But hell, I was team chief by then. Got over to when I was at Carson, I was working in division airspace management or whatever they call it. So I didn't really do anything. And then Germany, every year I took a team down. Then after that, after Germany, I went to California, 7th ID. And I don't remember really firing missiles or anything there. I'm sure we did, but we did so much. It was like 82nd light. It was that tempo there. And we do well. We only had 2 batteries, so we were on DRF1 half the year. So and we were always going out training. The tempo there was really high, just like at Bragg. So I just don't I'm sure we shot some, but I don't remember doing it. And finally, well, in Germany at one point I was a section sergeant as an E5. It wasn't until California that I made E6 and I had a section, but shortly after making E6, I went to Korea, and that was a joke because they were getting ready to transition to the Avengers. So they pulled all the weapon system. They had an alert. We were to go stand in front of the fence. Okay. And then, after Korea, it was 3 years JRTC, then 3 years of OBC.
Oh wow! So I did JRTC and then OBC right after it, like the Project Warrior kind of thing. Was that part of what you did?
Well, they didn't have a thing for it. It's what happened. Because I was at JRTC with Back and Griskowski and Stout and Monty, and it was a great group. And then after that, Griskowski left first, and he ended up at OBC. Then Back went in there, David Back, and then I had orders for it, and I barely made it to OBC because they were fighting for my ass there.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and I think Back finally went up and talked to the generals, like, I want this guy. There was something he had to do to get me there because somebody was trying to pull me really hard.
Amen, amen.
Yeah, that was interesting. JRTC, I loved it.
What team were you on? What was your Bravo number?
We were on. Me and G were on. I think we followed the armor package around because there's just two of us. Because
Okay.
the main group
Yeah. So you were like 2-2 and 2-2
two.
alpha or something like
Yeah,
that, or 2-4 alpha.
this is Bravo 24.
Yeah, right. You remember talking on the radio, the OC net, and locking somebody up on the radio, going one on one.
Oh yeah, yeah. Standing by a repeater tower and not getting a signal, and doing the old radio throw, motherfucker, piece of shit.
Yeah, you know what? I never had any radio problems at JRTC. That's funny.
Oh wow. Yeah, it wasn't very often, but when you see a repeater tower, it should be working.
Right, right. Wow. So tell me, what? Tell me what motivated you as a leader. What was it about leadership that got you going?
I just wanted to be the best, lead by example. I mean, whenever I got into a new crew or whatever, it's like, I would tell them, I don't expect you to do anything that I haven't done. And I was in the 82nd Airborne. And they'd go, oh, shit.
So that's an interesting kind of way to put things. Look, there's a lot of credibility, street cred for being a paratrooper in the 82nd Airborne. It's like, hey, I've done this,
Yeah.
and that's cool. I agree with that. I agree with that. It's like stand on my shoulders because I've been there before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, what they taught me there, I teach to people I had under me as much as I could remember. Is just after a while is just normal.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Was there a time in your life where you found yourself scared or having to fight or having to shoot back at something or somebody or
We went into Panama, and we'd been in we'd been there for a few days, and me and the lieutenant was kind of running part. We were split up, and we had a group with us, and he looked at me and told me, Sergeant Wilson, I want you to go look for booby traps in the ammo dump. And just being normal, I was turning my head to tell him to go fuck himself. Are you crazy? And that's when I remembered my training from Bragg. And I just looked at him like, all right. Now, I didn't smoke. When I got out of there, give me a cigarette. Sergeant Wilson, give me a cigarette. I'm going to pop your fucking head off.
Oh no, that's great.
Yeah,
Oh, that's great.
I don't think I slept for 3 days after that.
All right, so you got to explain that. Tell me more about that particular event. You had to do what now? You had to check for booby traps
In a Panamanian Army ammo dump
Oh wow! So you had to go looking for trouble.
in the middle of the night with no NVGs.
What? So now, come on. Why was it so crucial that you go do that in the middle of the night with no MBGs all by yourself?
I don't know.
Wow.
We were taking over the security of it because we took it. The Rangers jumped in there. This is
Right.
Rio, okay?
Okay.
And so we were doing a handoff. And it was more for me to go look for the booby traps that the Rangers might have put in there. Because they had already pulled out. So it wasn't a handoff. It was, okay, Wilson, go in there and look around.
I got you. I got
So, I'm thinking, okay, the biggest thing I'm going to be worried about is booby traps with wires on them,
you. Right.
more likely, because, so I had remembered something that his name, we called him Ranger Duncan. He was an E5 in the Alpha battery. He had told me, yeah, and this had to have been like 78, probably 79, he told me. And I remembered 10 years later, exactly. Go find a stick or something that's flexible and just walk with it in front of you. And if you hit a wire, it's going to bend it. So I did it, and made sense. Luckily, I remembered a short conversation 10 years ago that really helped me keep my shit together.
Amen. That's awesome. That's awesome. Did you find anything?
Yeah. One of the bunkers was full of liquor.
So tell me about that. How did that go?
Well, they wouldn't really let us around it. They hired a bunch of Panamanians to clear it out, but surprisingly, a bottle was liberated.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
I carried that around until we were back in some airfield. I don't even remember where the hell we were at, but it was around New Year's Eve, and it was a bottle of champagne. I saw champagne.
Wow, yay.
It was like, so we were living in this Air Force colonel put us up into, basically they could use these buildings for morgue. So we had nice air conditioned place to sleep for once. I started to enjoy being in the Air Force. So at some point we popped it. I forget when, because we spent they called it the Panamanian Tet Offensive, but it never happened. But we were all in Fox. Hell, I had a 60. I was behind a 60 that night.
Woo.
But nothing ever happened. So,
Right, right.
yeah, that was fun. Hell, that was 30 days, I think. We were down there.
Was that in '88 when the
89.
'89?
Yeah, just cause.
That's right, '89.
But hell, the seventh ID was always, once they stood it up, we were running all over the world with the 82nd. We'll be going down to Honduras and all that. And it's kind of nice to see the 82nd around again.
Amen to that. Amen to that. So, you know, if you had to go back and relive 1 year again, and go, what would it be? Where would you go back to? What time? What part of your career?
I wouldn't change anything.
No, no, no. I'm not saying you change anything. I'm saying you got to go back and relive it. Where would you go? I'm not saying you got to change it. I'm just saying you got to relive it.
I'd go back to Bragg.
Or would you?
Not 1979. I liked wearing my beret.
Amen, right?
Yeah, so let's say 1980.
I saw a picture of you with your sunglasses on, your beret on, looking snap, man, looking good.
Yeah.
Looking good. Were you a ladies' man?
Huh?
Huh? No, no.
Yeah. That was my first leave as private out of the 82nd.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Yeah. It was weird going home after only being in a short time. It's like, y'all a bunch of kids.
Oh, so isn't it funny how suddenly you just feel a little bit more grown up than the other people that you used to be around? You're like, it's almost like you look at them and you're like, you just don't even know, guy. You just don't know. You have
Yeah.
a very limited understanding because basic training indoctrinates you into a whole new world, right? You suddenly say, I'm a veteran, I'm a hero, I'm somebody that the U.S. Army depends on.
Yeah. And then going to jump school, that changes your perspective.
Did you enjoy jumping?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I had, I don't know how many jumps I had, but when I was in Korea, I got the call for JRTC. Hey, Sergeant Wilson, you want to go back on jump status? It's been 13 years since I last jumped.
Oh wow, yeah.
It was like, I was talking to the guy, and I'm in Korea, couldn't talk to the wife or anything. And like, I suppose you want an answer now, don't you? Yes, I do. Yes, I'll do it. I'll go
Amen.
status. I'll go to JRTC. Hell yeah.
That's
Can I
great.
again? Yes.
That's great. That's great. Did you ever get hurt on a jump?
Oh yeah. I dented my steel pot on my last jump at Prague.
No way.
It was a dark and stormy night. We were on a vomit comet. I mean, we are doing this, and I was a stick pusher, and the light turned red. And at the time, last jumper could decide if you wanted to go back around or get off the plane. I wanted off. I didn't care where I was. I wanted off that plane. I went out the door and I moved the trees. I saw the smoke on the DZ, so I must have had a -1. So I turned and ran with the wind. Not a problem. Except for the fact that I didn't turn into the wind before I landed. So I might have been doing what? Chute's got 10-mile-an-hour forward speed. I think it might have been 5-7 knots. I don't know. So I'm doing about 20 miles an hour when I hit on the rocks off the drop zone. I missed trees. I remember laying there for a while. I don't know if I knocked myself out because I was feeling my helmet and I felt this divot. So I took off the cover and I had a divot about the size of a golf ball in my steel pot. So I think it was Feetney's face.
There you go. Hey.
I don't know. I just remember laying there for a while. It's not like anybody saw me because I was 10 or 15 feet below the drop zone in the woods. So I just, let me get my shit together.
It's interesting how you highlighted that. Here's one I want to talk about is during that time, the wording on pre-jump and the way we controlled jumpers was basically, yes, the red light came on, and yes, that probably means that green light and the drop zone is over. However, nobody's gonna stop you from getting that
Mm-hmm.
plane. If you want to jump, just go, just do it, right?
Yeah.
Because they don't want to fly back around again, and we don't want to sit in the airplane any longer than we have to, and
No.
so you just highlighted, I mean, a frustration of many a jumper. It's like I don't care. I'm getting off of the airplane.
I'm out of here. I mean, that flight, the puke was up to there. I was choking it off. It's like, I want out now.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. It's hard to explain. Um, what'd you call it? A vomit comet. It's hard to explain a C-141 in the middle of the night trying to stay 200 feet above ground level as it flies all over the place doing this, and
Yeah.
there's 120 paratroopers on it just going, "Roar," and it's a big old jet, dude.
Oh,
Trying
yeah.
to, I mean, and it's just like, and oh my gosh, great times, man, right? Isn't that great?
That was fun.
Dude, we were willing as young paratroopers to do whatever our country asked of us.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know?
I mean, that's like when Clark goes, hey, let's walk across bomb-proof road. Let's go.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. So tell me about tell me about some of your buddies. Tell me about some of your leaders. Tell me about some of your officers. Tell me something.
Well, like Joe Stout. Me and him went to ANOC together. We got promoted the same day. We went there when we were in JRTC. And I fully expected to see him as a sergeant major, and he did, because he's the airborne messiah. But he was good at what the hell he did. And he was a talker. But he backed it up. He knew his shit. And everybody at JRTC was like that. I mean, it was just great to work with a great group of people. I remember the first rotation of 7th ID. It was, I believe, the second ever rotation at JRTC. Me and Steve Huskins were the advanced party. So we were at Chaffee, in one of the World War II buildings that was where they put us up at before we went out. I was up there talking to Huskin, and I hear somebody's voice downstairs. It's like, just didn't look. Joe, is that you? It was Joe Moran from Alpha. He was one of the team chiefs, like, hey, Joe, how you doing? He was, I think him and I forget who the other guy was. They were the first 2 ever OCs there. There was only 2 of them to cover the section. So, they were just scrambling. Well, they had our radio so they could talk or listen to us. And he would catch us doing stupid shit because I was using the same codes from 82nd.
That's funny. That's funny.
Because we could flip to different radio channels and he'll just come on. I know this, Wilson. Remember?
Isn't it funny how you just create secret codes and secret little back ways to communicate that are hidden from the rest of the world? Isn't that wild what you do?
Yeah, because sometimes you just you need a clear channel to talk on.
Amen.
Yeah.
So they say there's no atheist in foxholes. Did you find a time when there was some type of a spiritual component to your service that helped you get through some tough times? I know I did.
Yeah, when I was at Bragg, I mean, I was a teenager, just got out on my own, and I was searching for answers.
Amen.
So one night, we were out in the field, and I was crawling around the perimeter, just checking shit out. And I heard somebody talking. I moved over closer and just kind of laid there, and somebody was talking about Jesus. Come to find out, it was Lieutenant Avery from Alpha Battery, of course. Big Ranger. He's 6 foot something. His arms are about the size of my legs. He'd gone to OCS. And because I think he was an E6, then he made lieutenant. His brother had gone in as an officer and was working, I think he was a lieutenant colonel up in the Pentagon. Well, after a while, Avery was the battery XO, and I was in there this is all over in old division area. He called me in. It's like, my brother's going to be calling me. He's a lieutenant colonel working at the Pentagon. When you answer it and he identifies himself, just say, so how you doing, leg?
No way.
I'm looking at, you want me to tell a lieutenant colonel what, sir?
Oh, that's funny.
So I did.
Oh,
But
that's great.
yeah, I mean, I just listened to him and started going to church for a while out there. It was interesting.
Yeah, spirituality is something that deep down I think we all have inside of us in some way, and it's a call towards love to our brother, right? You know, I
Mhm.
like I just met you just tonight, really, but I love you, and I feel our brotherhood because our shared experiences together, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know you, and I'm talking to you like I've known you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you to do that. Thank you, thank you. Tell me about uh, who prays for you at night? Do you have somebody that loves you or did love you throughout your life? Who shaped you and made you the man that you are today?
Well, obviously, my parents did. I mean, because I've thought about it, and if it wasn't for how I was brought up, they they set me on a winning path. You know, went to church. Hell, I was an Eagle Scout.
Oh, that's an awesome thing. You were an Eagle Scout. That's a big deal now. That ain't no joke. That ain't no joke. Cool. Congratulations, man.
Thank you. Yeah, but that didn't raise my pay any.
Oh no. So what kind of things do you do for fun? What's your hobbies?
Well, things have changed in the last year. I now have my daughter, my son-in-law, and their family living with me. They came out for Dad's funeral last March and never went back to California. They decided to move here, which it's perfect. I've got a 2-story house, basement, upstairs. So I told them, you can have the upstairs minus my bedroom, and I've got the basement. They live their life the way they want to, and I do what I want to.
Amen.
Yeah, and I I was living by myself probably for the last 5, 7 years, and then having 4 grandchildren. I figured I'd be pulling my hair out, but I've really enjoyed it.
Good.
It's been great.
That's good. Well, if the parents are being parents, then being a grandparent is easy.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
say I'm not like Beth's mom. Spoil the grandchild, then give them back. No, I'm the same as the way I was with her. What do you think you're doing?
Uh,
They've learned to not piss off grandpa.
oh wow. Oh wow. You're making your wave felt, huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
But,
that's great.
it's not my job. They're the parents. So, I mean, I literally do not care what they do. They do their own things. I do what I want to. And they do what they want to. There are times like I found out I'm a really good cook.
Really?
Yeah.
What are you good at cooking?
Oh, I make a killer spaghetti sauce. I mean, to die for, according to my son-in-law.
There you go.
Yeah. And I just, because it's a lot easier cooking for more people than it is to cook for one.
Right.
I mean, you make one meal and would be eating it for 3 days. Yeah. So, my eating habits were getting kind of bad. But since they got here, hell, I've been enjoying learning how to do stuff.
Tell me a little bit about your patriotism. Like if you were going to talk to those that come behind you, the future generations, the ladies and men of today's world, do you have a note for them for someone like that about your patriotism?
I've never really thought about that. I joined the Army because to me it was just the right thing to do. I knew I wasn't ready for college because I was way too immature and did not care. But when I got in the Army, focused, but I loved what I did because, I love my country. I mean, I grew up respecting it, loving it, and it was just a part of me. It's not really something I've ever really thought about. It's just who I am. I'm a patriot. I mean, you don't do 20 years if you hate your country. So I guess the best way I show my patriotism was I did 20. I served. I mean, I did anything that I was asked and more. And it was because I just loved the country I was in. It's the best fucking country in the world.
You look great, man. It's cool seeing you sitting there and enjoying your stogie in your basement and just chilling out, being your best self, right? Yeah, that's cool.
Because I'm not a good actor, so I couldn't act my way through anything. But like the Army's a job. I don't have to like you to work with you. I can hate your guts and work with you, and you'll never know it because it's not personal. It's a job. Personally, I'd punch you out. Because one time back came in and told me, "Hey, Sergeant Wilson, I've got you some help." And then he told me who. And I'm like, are you kidding me? But if you saw us in the office, you couldn't tell that I did not like him. That would be unprofessional. Right? You can't hold something personal when you're doing a job. You got to deal with it, make him, make him be the best that he can be. So it just makes your life easier.
Amen.
I've always seemed like I always got a hard case because I knew how to deal with them. When I was a section sergeant over in Germany, I got this one guy. He'd been in another section and they gave him to me. And I was like, oh, I cannot wait to chapter this son of a bitch.
Oh my gosh.
Then I stopped. I looked at him. His name was Legal. You son of a bitch. You can't do that. You can't. He's my problem now. I got to make him work.
Right.
He was my best troop when I left.
Amen. Right. Amen.
Oh, yeah.
Amen.
After I left, he got chaptered out.
Oh no.
He fucking produced.
Oh, that's right. That's good. That's amazing. So, yeah. All right. So I gotta ask you these questions. Okay. It's your era of soldiers, the only era that it would work with. Okay. So I gotta ask you. Okay. So, like boots. Okay. Jump boots, jungle boots, leg boots. What boots? If you're gonna be looking good on a Monday morning formation, what boots do you have on?
Jump boots.
All right, jump boots. All right, cool.
I mean, my first formation at Carson, they'd stuck me in HHB. First day there, first formation ever. And Joe Shit the rag bag just got out of his car and looked like he just pulled his uniform out of a duffel bag. I mean, that bad. I was walking over there to hit him for being like, fuck up.
Oh, wow.
Over there's like, I stopped. This isn't the 82nd Wilson. But come to find out, He had just gotten kicked out of his house the night before.
Oh no.
But when he slept in his car, what is he going to wear? He showed up for formation in a prescribed uniform, but it was not up to standards. But I didn't know his backstory. I didn't know why he was looking like that. And I was just reacting from, my days at Bragg, I guess. I don't know. Because it's like I'd never seen anything like this before in my life from an E4.
Oh wow. So all right, so next, are you gonna again Monday morning inspection, squad leaders inspecting? You gonna wear OG 107s or BDUs or what?
Cotton. Start.
Ah,
Oh yeah, breaking starch, brother.
oh yeah. So you're breaking starch in the OG 107s?
Yep, cotton ones, not the pickle suit, the cotton ones.
I know what you're talking about. The good ones, the good ones, the sweet ones. Okay, all right, good. I like that.
Just for guard mount and whatnot.
I like that. I like that. Tell me about headgear. What kind of headgear are you gonna be wearing? You gonna be wearing a what Ranger cap, a Ranger hat, a beret? What?
Hey, beret. First day we had to wear leg hats at Bragg. Everybody walked around with their head down because they weren't used to having a damn bill.
So you remember when they took your berets away for a while? Is that what you're telling me?
I had to go up to DC to meet run with President Carter at the time. This I'd gone out to the field with this infantry unit, and for some reason they got tagged to go to DC to meet the president and run with him. And I had impressed the infantry CO so much that he got me and my gunner to go with them. So we were in leg hats, and one of the stops they took us to was the Pentagon. We walked into the Secretary of the Army's office, handed him a beret and say, "We want these back." That's how bold we were.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's great.
Yeah. But I never did meet Carter because that was right. It was during the Iran crisis, and he had just locked himself into the White House. So we had a free weekend to run around DC. So I called my cousin up. He lived up there. He went and picked me up and we went tooling around.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Did you have any crazy TDYs when you were in the Army?
I worked on the Roland project.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. Tell
Yeah.
me more. Yeah, that's a big deal.
I was supposed to go with Velton Locklear, but for some reason, he didn't go, and Ed Fleeman from Charlie or Delta Battery ended up going. So we went up there, and that was 2 trips. We had to go up to basically do AIT just to learn the system. And then we went and did the second reliability testing for it, which it failed. But I seriously thought about going Roland because they had air conditioning in those units.
Hey, look, air conditioning's a big draw. Let me tell you.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, well, I got a wife out of that TDY trip, so.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Yay, 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 yay.
Yeah. Ended up driving cross country in a Pinto from Bragg to Seattle.
That's a long way. That's a long way.
Yeah, that was fun because I met this other staff sergeant, Russo. When I got to Germany, qualified to go down to Crete, And guess who one of the evaluators were? My old friend Joe Russo.
Oh, that's great.
Hey, Wilson, I know how to get you past curfew.
Were you like a partier? Did you enjoy staying out and
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
having good times?
Yeah. I spent a couple of years at Bragg. So, yeah.
Right? It's almost like a rite of passage. You have to become a carouser, a run around late at night kind of person. It's weird like that in a way.
4 hours of sleep. Wow, that's a lot. Come back in and iron my uniform while drunk to make sure that shit looked right. Because, I was too stupid to do it before I went out, but did it every time.
So that's an interesting thing, right? There's a significant portion of my life was spent shining black leather boots. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How many minutes a night did I spend shining my boots? Was it 10 minutes? Was it 15 minutes? But there was some portion every night where I spent time
Hmm.
preparing my uniform for the next day.
Oh, yeah. And if you were in the barracks, or you'd sit around in a group shining your boots. I mean, it's just a normal thing to do.
Right, right.
It just, I mean, like I said, the hell, I'd come in drunk and still prepare my uniform. Never failed. But, having Locklear as a section sergeant.
Oh wow! So I knew Velton Locklear as a first sergeant. He was my first sergeant, and
uh, he's
yeah,
6.
that's awesome, right? So now he is, he's out in El Paso. He's doing wonderful. He's in the school system. He's teaching junior ROTC. He's like the district commander kind of guy.
Oh, hell yeah. That's good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm hoping to get him, and interview him soon. That'll be fun, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because he was one of the few people that I've met twice in my career. And it was funny. It was at the beginning and then at the end. And yeah, he was a good damn leader. Then there was Staff Sergeant Jones that had second section. He ended up being the sergeant major in the 101st.
Oh wow.
He was going through a rotation at, where the hell was it? It was Bragg or Polk, or Chaffee or Polk. I looked at him, Sergeant Joe, Sergeant Major, how you doing? you know,
Oh, that's awesome.
I ran into Charlie Kendricks in Germany. I he was still alive, so I couldn't figure out why he wasn't at Bragg. But he greeted me like an old friend. Last time I had talked to that man, I wanted to go across the desk and get my ass whooped by him.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but he was a good guy too.
Right? Didn't we have such wonderful leaders around us at all times?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the NCOs you couldn't beat. Officers, I really didn't pay attention to because I was a private and I didn't want to talk to them. But hell, you see the battery picture. The next time I saw my battery XO, he was the battalion commander.
Right.
And that I hadn't gone up to the new area where you guys had moved to. So that the JRTC package went there and everybody knew where to go except me because I'm ODA.
Oh my gosh. Old division.
I didn't know shit. I was like, I was just, I mean, I was, it was weird just being back there and looking. It's like, oh my God. But I didn't know where anything was. You put me back in old division, I would have been good.
Right, right,
I
right.
was, I was lost most of the time.
So Tell me what advice you might have for a youngster that was in today's world joining the army. What would you say?
It is the one time, if you're going to join, don't do it half-assed. Your life depends on it. You be the best that you can be. Be better than that, because it's not a joke. It's your life. You want to come in second place? You got to be first. You've got to do your best.
It wasn't the be all you can be motto the best motto in the world. That was the motto, dude. That was it.
Yeah.
Be all that you can be. Dude, I
And
was like, yeah, that's me, man. Come on,
yeah,
let's go.
I mean, hell, I had to go to DC to run with the president. And it was because I was with the best damn people in the world.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, before we get done with this, I gotta have you do this. I got to have you. What rank did you retire as?
E7.
So you were sergeant first class. So I need you to call your platoon to attention, and then sign out. Right? Yeah, you gotta do that. Everybody's done that so far, right? You do that for me, right? Because you know I'm gonna use this for. Oh, another thing you got to do. You got to tell me. You got to talk. A couple things we've done these every time. Okay, so you got to salute and do that. That's part of it. I really would appreciate that. I know you will. I know you will. I know you're not balking at all about that. The other thing though is, hey, so here's what I'm realizing. Have you been watching any of these as that I've been doing, right?
Well,
Okay, so you gotta help me. You gotta say, like, tell people to like and subscribe. You haven't heard me say that at all, right? But you gotta
well,
tell me. So you gotta help me because I'm weird with that. I'm like, fuck, no, come on now. But you gotta help me. So do this for me. Say, okay, everybody, you need to like and subscribe or something like that. However it comes out. Do that first, right? Go ahead and say that.
okay, everybody, you need to like and subscribe Marshall in the middle, because talking with him, it's like talking to an old friend, and I've never met the man. You'll have a good time doing it, and you'll remember a lot of shit in a short time.
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you so much. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so the next thing we got to do is you gotta like platoon attention, and then I'm not gonna end it right there, but this is just for video. I got you. You're gonna and then sign out.
Well,
Right? Would that be cool? Right?
all right. Platoon, attention. Sergeant First Class Wilson signing out.
Oh my gosh, brother, that's awesome, right? Doesn't that make your friggin' heart pitter patter?
Yeah, I actually miss saluting.
Amen. Right? Amen. There's something that's deep down inside about saluting and greeting of the day and being around leaders and soldiers and just accomplishing a mission.
Yeah.
Even if it's just police call, it's still you're accomplishing a mission and you feel good
Mm-hmm.
about it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I must have been fun to work with, because they always wanted me on all the damn work part. I come walking up, I snuck up on them. And they were just, well, I didn't sneak up. I was just walking up, and they didn't see me, and they're talking, man, Sergeant Wilson needs to get down here. When he's down here, things are so much funner.
Amen.
I
Right.
don't know what the hell I did, but people seem to have liked me. So,
Well, I tell you what, I've had a blast with you. I've enjoyed being with you as you smoked your cigar and we've told a story or two. You are an American treasure and a hero that I'm proud to say that I know. And
so are you.
oh my gosh, amen. Thank you very much. It's been wonderful. And tell me some parting words, give me some good wisdom, a Clay Wilson wisdom. Uh you got anything? I know that Joe Stout always had great things to say about you. I spent a lot of time with him and your name come up a lot, from him.
Yeah. He lived down the he lived down the street from me at Polk. Now, as Joe Stout said that if you call him, he will come, and that is no lie. One night, we knew he had duty the next day, and we didn't. Well, somebody in my house got the great idea of, hey, tell Joe we're down at the bar. This is, Leesville. He would have to drive by my house, which would have both my cars there. So that would tell him that, he would have stopped. I know Joe. Well, about the same time, somebody said, hey, you need to run and go get something. So I took off. He only saw one car. He went into town and looked for me for an hour. Well, for the group of us. So I forget who. Might have been T-Bone was down there. I forget who. My ex-wife. But he would get up and go no matter what. When he finally came back and saw both cars there, and he comes in, he's trying to be mad, but it's like, it was a good time. He doesn't fake it. That's him. He will get up and go.
Oh my gosh, gotta love Airborne Messiah stories, right? You gotta
Oh,
love them. You gotta love them. Well, Clay Wilson, I salute you, man. You're a hero, I know. Thank you so much. I've had a blast.
thank you. We'll talk to you later.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.